What if a small decision you made, say 25 years ago, suddenly came back as a six-figure bill? A bill so big it could actually threaten to take your home. Well, this isn't just some hypothetical story, it's a very real situation, and it's a powerful warning for pretty much any homeowner out there thinking about doing some renovations. This story actually comes to us from the team at Finance Hub and Networks. They're mortgage brokers here in Australia, and, they see firsthand just how these kinds of situations can play out in the real world. So, could a simple granny flat, something built a quarter of a century ago, really force a family to sell their home? For one retired couple, this isn't a bad dream. It is the reality they are staring down right now. Let's unpack how this all happened. Yeah, this 25-year-old nightmare belongs to the Teo family. So let's meet them and really get to the bottom of how their past renovation choices have come back to create such a massive problem. So this is Chai and Emmy Toe. They've lived in this home for decades. And about 25 years back, they built a granny flat over their old backyard pool. Now, they're honest about it. They admit they should have gotten permits. But they never in a million years imagined that one decision would end up threatening their entire retirement. And you can just feel the weight of the situation in their own words. METO says it's taking a very bad toll on their household. I mean, that's something nobody wants to face, especially not when you're in your 70s. Their son, Joseph, he feels like the council's demands are just completely over the top. He says they're not just asking for the flat to be removed, but for the original pool structure to be demolished too. He's even called it bullying tactics. And Shai's plea is it's heartbreaking, really. He's about to turn 80, and he just wants to live out his retirement in peace. But that peace has a price tag, and in this case, it's a shockingly high one. So this is where that emotional stress really turns into a full-blown financial crisis for the family. This is the number. This is the estimated cost that's just hanging over their heads. $101,000. I mean, for a retired couple, that's a figure that could literally mean losing everything. So you're probably wondering, where does a massive number like that even come from? Well, it's a mix of a few things. Potential council fines for the unapproved building, plus the absolutely staggering cost of demolishing not just the granny flat, but the buried pool that's underneath it. The council has put two options on the table. Option one is to hire a private surveyor and try to get everything certified after the fact, or option two, complete demolition. The family says they just can't afford the surveyor, let alone the demolition costs, which really leaves them stuck between a rock and a hard place. Now, it is so easy to see the council as the villain here, but it's really important to try and understand their side of the story too. There are some critical reasons why these rules exist in the first place. It all comes down to this one key idea: building compliance. And this isn't just about bureaucratic red tape. It's the whole legal framework that's designed to make sure a home is safe, not just for you, but for any person who might own it in the future. So why does the council care so much? Well, because unpermitted work can hide a whole lot of problems. We're talking structural weaknesses, hidden mold, faulty wiring, you name it. Permits make sure everything is built to code, which protects not just your safety, but also the value of the property for anyone who might buy it down the line. And this is absolutely crucial. This was not a sudden ambush. The council says they've been working with the Tohos on this for over 5 years. And since 2022 alone, they've granted 7 extensions or pauses to give the family time to comply. So this adds a really complex layer to the story, showing there's a long history here of trying to get this sorted out. A story like this can be really intimidating, especially if you're kind of looking around your own home now and wondering what secrets it might be hiding. The truth is, navigating all these council rules can be super confusing. And let's be honest, the whole system of permits and codes and regulations can feel like a maze. If you find it confusing or overwhelming, you are definitely not alone. It's a complicated area, and it's actually smart, not weak, to ask for help. So, to stop a nightmare like the one the Teo family is living through, let's turn this story into a really simple, actionable lesson. Here's a quick safety check you can do before you ever even think about picking up a hammer. It really boils down to a super simple 3-step process. First, before you do anything, check your local council's website. Second, ask the single most important question: does my project need a permit? Never, ever assume the answer is no. And third, if there is any doubt at all, talk to a professional. A small fee for advice up front can save you a world of pain later on. And so this whole story leaves us with one really crucial question to ask ourselves, right? Whether you're buying a new house or you've been living in one for decades, what's hiding in the history of your home? Because, as the TOs discovered, the things you don't know about can end up costing you everything. If this story brings up questions about your own property journey, the most important thing you can do is seek out professional advice. Whether that's the counsel, a builder, or a financial advisor, getting expert help is the key to making sure your dream home doesn't turn into a nightmare. Finance Hub and Network's Credit Representative 369168 is authorized under Australian Credit License 389328. Your full financial situation would need to be reviewed prior to acceptance of any offer or product. Subject to lender's credit criteria, fees and charges will apply.